Godot 4.3 has officially been released and is packed with the most contributors and commits we've seen in the previous versions. There's a lot to explore, from new features to amazing improvements, and today we're going to be checking everything out that you need to know about Godot 4.3. First of all, some general information about this release. The release page is completely new. It contains brand new menus in terms of how the new features are displayed and organized. Super stylish. And also here you can see what I was telling you about, that Godot 4.3 has the most commits and contributors that we have seen in previous versions. We see that we have over the same amount of commits that we had both combined, Godot 4.2 and Godot 4.1, but in just Godot 4.3. So indeed the amount of new stuff is quite interesting and massive. I will be highlighting the main features, but of course if you want to know all the new stuff, you can always take a look at the full post that I'm going to be leaving in the description down below. The first new thing has to do with the UFBX importer. Now importing FBX is natively supported. So for example, over here I have my FBX file and I will basically drag and drop it inside of Godot. And here I have it literally inside of it, and I can just drag and drop it with all the textures, with everything. And also now here in the import settings, you can also take a look at newer options in terms of the load pose. You can use the default pose or some other pose that you may have inside of your animation player, or even if you just want to load in some kind of external animation. So this of course allows you to have a better and more rapid workflow, since you don't have to install any kind of external FBX importer as you had to do. TileMaps also have some modifications, so now we see this warning icon that basically say that TileMaps are deprecated. Basically this means that probably soon they are going to be deleted and that they will no longer receive any kind of update. So here the change has to do with how layers are organized, but not exactly in the tileset asset or whatever, because as you can see they literally have the same menu, the same everything for you to draw. But the thing is that now you have a new node that is called tilemap layer, that is right over here. So now instead of having here the different layers, what you have is one tilemap layer for each layer you want your tilemap to have. So instead of just having a node here with all the different layers created like this, you would have one tilemap layer node. And you can, if you have an existing tilemap node, you can go to this button over here and click extract tilemap layers as individual tilemap layer nodes. So you will have now every single tilemap layer converted into a new tilemap layer node, and then you can finish up by changing this tilemap to something like a node 2D, so that you have them wrapped up as they should. And as you can see, the interface and how tilemap layers are set up is the exact same one as a tilemap layer would do. The only modification is in terms of how layers are being organized. Also, Parallax Background and Parallax Layers node have some tiny modifications. So how you used to do this is basically add a Parallax Background, then a Parallax Layer, and then probably you would add there your sprite. But now we have a new node that is called Parallax 2D, that as you can see is meant to replace Parallax Background and Parallax Layer. Basically the idea is that these two are unified under this Parallax 2D node. Once again, as we have with timemaps, you can quickly update, let's say, these nodes. This time you select your Parallax Background, go over here and convert to Parallax 2D. So now you have each Parallax layer node converted into this new Parallax 2D, and now you don't have to use this Parallax background node that you used to need. So basically the idea is that instead of having Parallax Background and parallax layer, you only have a parallax 2D, okay, so you have to use less nodes. And also parallax 2D still provides here, of course, the scrolling options that you have in parallax background nodes in order for you to be able to create these effects that is so interesting in lots of games. In the animation keyframes, we also have some new stuff. This is just a run animation, but of course, you used to be able to right click on any keyframe and duplicate it, paste, or whatever. But now you're able to use keyboard shortcuts. For example, you can select all of them, press Ctrl C, then Ctrl V as if you were pasting code or whatever, and you have a copy of literally an exact copy of those keyframes. So well, here in this case, we are not going to have much difference. But well, in other use cases it can be quite useful. You can also press directly Ctrl D and you will have your keyframes duplicated. Also Ctrl X to cut them, Ctrl V to paste them again. You can literally do everything that you can do in code with shortcuts, at least in copying, pasting, cutting, whatever, but now in the animation player. The documentation you have inside of the Godot editor now has a code highlighting, and also you have this copy button, so you can at any time copy that code and paste it in any script. Well, this is a super tiny new feature, but when using the offline docs, it can help you read a little bit better the different lines, and also whenever you want this code to copy and paste it, it is much simpler, okay, because you have that button that actually makes the process a little bit faster and more efficient. You can now also move your file system to the bottom. You can click on these three dots and move to the bottom, so this will create an interface much similar to what we have, for example, in Unity. And the good thing about this interface, not only for me at least does it look better, but also you have much more space to use here vertically for your scene or for any other window that you may have over here, so you're able to see more nodes. So you are not limited in terms of space for your scene window, and also this window, for me, it looks much better, and it is much closer to Unity. So if you used to use Unity, or if you do like that UI, this is definitely an option that is worth using. Now the project manager does have some extra options. For example, if you have no projects created, you can now directly from here create a brand new project. You can import an existing one, or even open up the asset library. So here you can create your project, import any existing, and also you can directly open the asset library to go ahead and download a project. Also now, for example, I am in 4.3 release candidate 3, and if I go to this settings menu and I change network mode to be now online, if I give it a second, here it will tell me that I have a new update available, and it will directly take me to the downloads page. Also, whenever you are creating a new project, you have this create folder option. So for example, I will create here a new project. This is just a test, and automatically I will have in the project path selected a new folder created, so I don't have to go anymore to browsing and create a new folder. Godot will automatically create that folder. And also, talking about project paths, we can select the directory naming convention. So for example, if you select snake case, whenever you create a new project, you will see that the new folder that you create here will follow that naming convention. So that there we have snake case, but we could use also as well Pascal case, and this would be updated accordingly following the naming convention we had set. So this was all about Godot 4.3, such an amazing update. So I hope that with this video you now have a better understanding about every single new interesting feature that is out there. Remember, in the first line of the description you will find the official release page post, so that you can actually know every single new detail on this release. If you want to be always the first one on knowing the latest Godot news, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. See you in the next one and bye bye.